Hello and welcome to Lightworks. In this tutorial we're going to have a look at chroma-keying. Chroma-keying is a technique where you shoot against a green screen or a blue screen and you make the screen colour transparent by using a chroma keyer. In this shot here I've got a lady shot against a green screen. I'd like to superimpose her, remove the green, over this background of the lake and mountains. Applying the chroma key effect achieves this result. I just turn that on. The green is removed and becomes transparent, revealing the background. Okay, let's see how that's done. Let's remove the chroma key. When you're filming against a green screen or a blue screen, there's a couple of important things to consider. Firstly, good lighting. Make sure the screen is well lit and the colour is consistent right the way across it. Another good tip is to make sure there's sufficient distance between the screen and your subject to avoid spill. You'll see spill appear from the screens around hair, heads and the edges of the subject. I've chosen this shot because it's particularly challenging in a number of ways. Take this frame for instance. Firstly, this mesh material is challenging to key. Because of the texture of the material, it's made up of a very fine mesh. You'll see it is revealing the green screen in the background, but to a lesser degree. We need to make this transparent, but not completely transparent. Around the hair, there's the fine hairs here. Keying individual hairs is challenging. Well, let's get going. First of all, to the green screen shot on V1, I'm going to apply my chroma key effect. I'm just going to right click, we can use your effects palette, choose add, green screen. Now Lightworks has set a predetermined value for the green, but it doesn't quite match our green, so we're going to make another step to clean up the key. What I'm going to do is turn off the key on my settings panel, go straight for the colour picker, select that, and pick a point that's close to the edges of the skin. Either on the arm or under the chin would be sufficient, and click. Watch the hue, saturation and luminance values change as we click. Now, when I turn the key back on, we've got a much better result. The sky's coming through cleanly, and that's been improved. What you can see is some green edges still remain around the hair, and the mesh material isn't quite transparent. I want to be able to see the background through some areas of this material where it's required, but at the same time I want to maintain the colour of the material and also block the background when it's appropriate in the shot. To get a clearer idea of what's going on in the key, use the Reveal section checkbox. Hit Reveal. Here, the white areas are 100% transparent and the black areas have no transparency. We want to keep a nice clean black and white contrast, but for semi-transparent areas we want to keep them in a nice smooth grayscale display when we're using key reveal. You can also invert the key. Click the invert checkbox. In this way, the black is transparent and the white has zero transparency. I'm just going to go back to the first reveal mode. When we're working adjusting the green screen, it's a balancing act of the best results from these three parameters: the hue, the saturation and the luminance. The first thing you'll notice is that there's this area here in the picture which is not transparent and pure white. I'm going to fix that up now. I'm going to leave the hue alone for the moment because of the work we've already done with the colour picker. Let's work on the saturation value for the key colour. Clicking in the middle on the left hand of this ramp, as I push that, you'll notice some changes start happening in the picture. I'm going to move down to the luminance on the left hand ramp as well. Click in the middle and drag to the left. As I do so, look at the right hand corner. I'm going to drag to the left and slowly push out those black pixels, just to the point where the last one just disappears, which is about there. That's cleaned up that spill area. I'm going to go back to the top of the piece and just hit play. Now you'll notice the material has no transparency. It's fully black. I want to add in some grey tones on this key display to illustrate that there is some transparency through to the background. To do that, we're still going to make some further adjustments to the key settings. Let's have a look at saturation. As I drag the left hand edge, you start to see that's revealed. As you work with the key, you might see some blocky artifacts. Depending on the type of material you've shot, you may have compression in the image, which will reveal blocky artifacts. To help smooth this over, increase the slope on the ramps on the edges of these settings. If I click on the bottom node, as I push that, very shallow ramp, you can see the blockiness under here. As I push the ramps and increase their slope, that smooths out. Now as I'm doing this, you can see an action and a reaction in different parts of the picture. I smooth out the transparency in the material, but we're getting a white line on the arm. This will be transparent. We want to try and avoid this. I'm just going to click in the middle of the left-hand saturation slope and drag that, see what can be done. That's eliminated. Let's check the luminance slope. As I drag this, watch the hairs in the picture here. What we want to do is try and keep those hairs keyed as finely as possible. I'm going to stick about there. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to the key colour range. I'm going to click on the bottom point of the slope and increase that, and this will encompass the blue area of the material she's holding. If I close that down, it's not there. As we open it up, we start to get that grey for the transparency. I'm just going to click in the middle and open up that range fully. Clicking at the top points, I'm going to close it up slightly. Okay, let's turn off reveal, see how we're doing. So that's improving. You can see the background is coming through. We have a pure key under our arm where the material goes here, and there's a bit of green around the hair. We might be able to improve that slightly. Let's see what can be done while we monitor the image in this mode. Looking at the luminance point of the key colour, I'm going to push further into the darker greens here. This is darker green around the hair. Clicking in the middle of the slope, as I push, we clean up around the hair a bit. As I come back, you can see that green all around the hair. I'm going to push as far as I can and just go back into the reveal mode and repeat the process. As I do that, look what's happening down under her arm. We're starting to make her arm transparent. This is what I was saying about balancing all of these values. There will be an action and reaction to all of your settings, so you need to find the best fit. As I come back, that transparency is gone under her arm. Checking back in saturation, firstly the slope. I'm going to try and smooth out these grey areas in the cloth. What I'm doing now is cleaning up just this little white patch that's appearing across the arm. I'm going to move the slope to the right and just eliminate that as best as I can. Turn reveal off again. So we've achieved transparency through the mesh, pushed in to keep the hairs keyed. Got some fine hairs coming out here and here. Just turning off the key for the moment. This part here is quite challenging. You see we've got the mesh that's see-through here. In this area here, we're just showing it's blue and it's not see-through at all. Looking at our key, this is what's happening. Slightly transparent, not see-through here in that blue area. Now with some more fine-tuning, we could probably improve that a bit more. So for the final stage, what I want to do is try and clean up this green spill we've got around the hair. And there's a touch around the arms as well. There's also a tint of the green screen on the mesh. Again, that's quite challenging to deal with. To do that, go to the Remove Spill slider and push the value up. This will inject purple against the green into the picture. You might need to go all the way up on that value. So if we have a look at that, no spill suppression, push that up, inject the purple, that'll pull out that spill. One more thing you might consider to add to your background is a blur, to add some depth of field to your composition. I'm just going to pop on a blur to V2, right click, add box blur, and that just knock back the background here, just defocus them slightly to give some depth to the image. The process for working with blue screen material is just the same. We hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching.